Welcome to my channel, Frugal Money Saver. My name is Emmy, and I am so glad that you are here with us today. My husband Paul and I are an early retirement couple living in the state of New York, and we live a frugal life, and we show you how we do it and our journey along the way. So today's video is actually a little bit different, but it's actually one of my favorite ways to do videos. I love when I get to just sit and chat with you guys about frugal decisions we make in our lives. And I always feel like you get to know us a little better, and by your comments, we get to know you all a little better. So that's always a win-win. So today's video is actually 7 things we splurge on and why we splurge on them. Now, I know you never thought you'd hear the word splurge on my channel, but indeed you do. I think so many people associate with frugality with deprivation, and it couldn't be further from the truth. Frugality means that we are taking our money and making conscious decisions on where to spend it while keeping within a set budget. And frugality and being frugal is not being cheap. That is another misconception. Frugality, again, is deciding where we want our money to go. Cheap is having the money, and when a situation warrants and calls for you to spend that money, you don't. So 2 different things. Today, I want to share with you 7 things that keep us being frugal. What I mean by that is these 7 things we tend to spend a little bit more on, but because we are frugal, we are able to. Now, my list is not going to be your list, but if you have this list, it helps you so much to stay on a frugal track. Because when you realize that these things are priorities in your life and you need to be saving for them and staying within budget so you can allow them, frugality and spending and watching our money takes on a whole different meaning. I think the point that we need to remember, though, with these splurges is they have to be within our budget. If we are going outside of the realm of our budget with these splurges, then we have to come back in. And some of these splurges need to go. It won't be a splurge if we're putting it on a credit card. Then it becomes debt. There's a difference between a splurge and going into debt. Totally 2 different things. If you're putting it on a credit card and not paying it off on the end of the month, then that is not a frugal splurge. That is just debt. And that is not what I am talking about here. Before we get to our 7 splurges, I just want to go over what we did this week to save money. Because if we're not saving the money, then we're not going to have extra money to go for these splurges. So, first one we did this week is I didn't use my dryer once. I waited and made sure that the days I washed clothes, it was going to be sunny out, and that's what I did for the week, and it worked out perfectly. No dryer this week, and that is the biggest drain on our electric bill. So that's awesome. Another thing is our library opened, so you can order a book online from the library, and then you go around and they carry it out to you in a little paper bag, and you can now get books from our library again. So I got my first book, and I am so excited. It feels great to be reading again. And then what I also did was I downloaded a free book on Hoopla through my library online. If your library is not open yet, ours is just for pickup and drive-through. If it's not, go online to their site, and there are so many links for free resources to read. And so I downloaded a free book from Hoopla. Another thing we did to save money this week is it's really warming up here in the Northeast, and we don't have central air. A lot of people in the Northeast don't. We use window air conditioners, and they can be pricey. So what we do in the morning is, while it's cool, the windows are open. Soon as that sun starts hitting this, our downstairs faces east. So as soon as that sun starts rising, the shades go down, the windows close, and the door close. And that keeps the house nice and cool for a while. So we're really cutting down on our air conditioning expenses that way. As the day goes on, if it gets too hot, then we do put it on. But for the majority of it, we're keeping it nice and cool doing it that way. Another thing we did, so keep an eye out for this video, is I took one chicken and made 4 meals out of one fresh young chicken. And I show you how with recipes included, but that was a huge money saver. 1 chicken, 4 meals, and they're good portion. You could definitely feed more than 2 on this. So that was another great money saving tip we did. Another one is I had leftover food from our 4th of July gathering. I did a video on 0 food waste. Now this chicken video and the 0 food waste hasn't been edited. It's not out yet, but keep an eye out for them. So what I did was this 0 food waste, you know how big I am on that. I went through the refrigerator and stuff that was left over for the party, I created into other meals, I froze, I prepared, I prepped, and I'm going to share that with you. So that saved us a ton of money for future meals. So these are just a couple of things that we did this week so that we have a little bit extra. Every little bit helps, you know, I always tell you that. So let me get to number 1. These are in no particular order. They're just things that we are passionate about, things that we feel are important to us. Again, your list is probably going to be totally different, but that's okay. It's still important to have this list. So, number 1, our health insurance. We pay 1/3 of Paul's monthly pension for our health insurance. Let that sink in. 1/3 of Paul's pension every month goes to our health insurance. Could we get cheaper plans? Absolutely. Do we want a cheaper plan? Absolutely not. We have had this plan since Paul started working 35 years ago. It is an amazing plan. We get to pick our doctors. We get to pick our hospitals. And to us, that is extremely important. I want to have a rapport with my doctor. I want to feel comfortable with my doctors, God forbid. And, you know, having an insurance that allows us to pick and choose is really very important to us. And it also has low or no copays on so many procedures, hospitalizations. Again, we hope we never need it, but it's there if we do. And also with this being a healthcare item, at the end of the year, because it does take up so much of our budget, we are allowed to claim it on our taxes. So that is a plus in our eyes. But our healthcare and our insurance is more than most people would be willing to spend. But again, to us, it's extremely important. Number 2, our pets. Dixie Belle's right by my feet. Our pets are part of our family. To us, they are a priority financially as well. They eat good food. They get great medical care. You know, we don't buy like toys for them, nothing like stuff like that. I don't mean it that way. But their food and their health care is top priority in their little lives. And I feel, well, I shouldn't say we both feel that if you have a pet, they should get the best of the best. And that, I think, is what owning a pet, being a pet mommy and daddy is all about, right? These are an extension of our family. So that is also where some of our money is allotted. Very important to us. Another one is food. What do I mean? You've seen our hauls, and if you haven't, please check. I do hauls quite often on this channel. You don't see a lot of processed food in our hauls. Processed food tends to be lower than whole foods. I would rather buy a whole bag of potatoes than a bag of French fries. I would maybe rather buy a half a gallon of organic milk than a gallon of regular. Again, this is just who we are. We buy a lot of fruits and vegetables, meats, grains, cheeses, dairy, stuff like that. You won't see a lot of processed food. And I don't want to be specific because I don't want to step on toes, but we just don't eat box prepared or frozen prepared food. Yes, we will get a bag of French fries every once in a while and some fun stuff like that for a treat. But on a week-to-week basis, we don't do that. So our food bill tends to be a little higher, and we are trying to get it down though. If you watch my budget videos, you'll see this is something we're really working on. But that is a priority to us, good, healthy, whole foods. Another one is our kitchen appliances. We spend a lot of time in the kitchen. Like I just said, a lot of our food does not come prepared. We prepare it. We chop, we dice, we mix, we stir, we bake, we broil. So I tend to like better kitchen appliances. Our KitchenAid mixer, I will have that thing, oh my goodness, forever. I don't even know how long. I think Paul's parents bought it for me for Christmas maybe, I don't know, how long, 10, 15 years ago, Paul? Yeah. I mean, we've had it a very long time. My cookware is Cuisinart cookware from France. Paul bought it for me for Christmas about 10 years ago. That stuff's not going anywhere. And if you look at over time, spending a little more, but the product lasts so much longer, you are getting, it actually turns into a frugal item because you're never replacing it. Think of it that way. You're never replacing that item. Or if you do, it is so far down the line, you have gotten your money's worth and then some. So our kitchen appliances tend to be a priority for us. Another one is, you're going to laugh at this one, but skimping on hot water in the shower. Well, I have heard, and listen, again, if this works for you, turning the shower off while you're sudsing up and then turning it back on to save money on heat and water to rinse. To me, the little bit of money we're going to save would not be worth it in the months of January, February, March, November, December, right? We would be ice cubes. It doesn't make sense. That is something we splurge on, is hot water in the shower. I don't ever skimp on that. Just not something we do. Another one is, this is kind of funny, and we are usually not brand specific at all. Paul and I, we're pretty go with the flow, whatever looks good. But there are two items you will always find in our bathroom cabinet, and that is Colgate Total toothpaste and Ivory bar soap. I buy them when they are on sale, so my closet is always stocked with them. But even if I had to pay a little bit more, I would for those two items. Ivory soap and Colgate Total, they're just something that we splurge on that is very important to us. We love the products. We really, truly do. So that's something we don't skimp on. And our last one, and I think this really may be the most important to us and the one that we strive for the most. On our day-to-day frugal journey, when we're cutting corners and we're freezing basil and we're freezing eggs and we're growing squash outside to save money, the thought that we are able to bless others in a time of need with that extra money we have saved is one of the greatest feelings in the world. And no, I am not tooting my own horn. I am no philanthropist thinking that, not at all. I'm just talking about a small legitimate need that someone may have that we are able to take care of. Now, I'm not talking about getting your nails done or buying a new pocketbook or something like that. I'm talking about a legitimate need. A need is not a want. Remember that. A legitimate need, and that we are able, if it stays within our budget, as all of these have to remain in our budget, we have to cut enough in other areas. We have to be frugal enough in other areas to make this list work. So if we're playing it right and we're doing it right and we have extra left over to be able to bless someone with it, then you know what? We've done what we are supposed to do in our eyes. So this is just a little taste. I'm sure if we sat and really thought about it, we could come up with more. And I challenge you to make a list of your own. Why are you being frugal? If you are paying off a mortgage, number one is to pay off your mortgage, and that is where that extra money goes. You're paying a car payment. You need to buy a new car. You need to put a child through college. Whatever it may be, these are your frugal outlets where the money goes. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope you found it encouraging that this is not a life of deprivation. It is a life of choosing where our money is to go. And that is pretty liberating, actually, very much so. So we thank you for sharing this time with us. We ask that you give this a big thumbs up. Click that subscribe button. And if you haven't seen these two videos down below, please give them a watch. I am sure you'll enjoy them. So until our next video, we wish you blessings. Bye-bye.